Hello dears and welcome back. Today's video is going to be very interesting, very different from the typical types of videos I post, and here's why. We're going to be talking about nutrition. So if you haven't noticed, I tend to swerve out of the way whenever we talk about nutrition, and if not, I must have been swerving very well. So basically, it's not that I'm brain dead in this subject. Not that this is a excuse. There are constantly new studies coming out, there are constantly new conspiracy theories, new trends, and everything about this nutrition, how to diet, that I find it very tiring to keep up to date. I obviously know the foundation, okay, I'm not that dumb. But also in school, it's nothing that we really put a lot of focus on just yet. The day will come where we put a lot more focus on nutrition, because in the end, diet and nutrition is 70% of your work in the gym, to get results in the gym. So what is this video all about? So it's very mysterious so far. Well, my dears, today is the first video on the 1st of March 2021 where I try something out for science. I want to try intermittent fasting. What? There are a couple of reasons why I want to try it. First of all, I don't have a specific goal behind this. I don't really need to lose weight or anything. I just want to try it out because the thing is, if you do something and try it out yourself and see it from your own perspective, you're able to help people with it a lot better as well. And reading about it and doing my own research, for me, it seems something that could possibly be very beneficial to many of my customers. So for me, I'm trying it out just so that I have an extra tool to work with when it comes to my weak spot. I've done my own research. I'm not talking from a professional's perspective because I've not learned this in school yet, so therefore I don't want to sell myself as a professional talking about this. There are many different types of intermittent fasting. The one that I decided to go for was the 8 and 16 hour window. So you fast for 16 hours and then you get to indulge for 8 hours. Also, from the research I've done, I will give it the time of 30 days. I have to stop you right there. I not do 30 days, I do 3 weeks, okay? Because I'm a chicken. I'm going to be filming my experience of every day or every so often whilst dieting for these 30 days to see how it goes. And then at the end of that, we're going to talk about the experience, the pros, the cons, and did it work, and the science behind it. So I know it's the first day and there's probably not much I can update you on, but this lighting is too good not to update you guys with. I've clearly been drinking a lot more water to try and feel less hungry, which is great because I'm trying to work on my skin, trying to make myself look. I'm mostly surprised I've not gotten hangry or cranky, because it's something that I'm really known for when I get low blood sugar. God bless my parents, have to put up with that. I must confess, my last meal was at 10 o'clock. Last night, so I'm not really been fasting for 16 hours just yet, but we're still gonna have a meal at 12 o'clock just so that we can get into the rhythm of it. Yeah, that's it for day one.
Olivenöl, wir haben Knoblauch in der einen Pfanne, Zwiebeln angeröstet in der anderen Pfanne. Was kann ich dir mal...
So today is day 2. I don't know if it's just because I'm bloated because I'm a girl and girls have different types of cycles, or if it's due to the nutrition, due to the diet I'm doing right now, but I feel very bloated for whatever reason. I'm drinking a lot more water than usual, so I have to urinate more than I ever possibly thought I could. Also notice, due to whenever I break the fast, I eat a lot more than I normally would. Usually I have my little meals throughout the day, small meals, and now it's like 2 big meals, and makes me feel a bit ill, but that is probably it for now. Look at my cool shirt.
Down, yeah. I've been feeling so down.
So it's day 5. I have just eaten and I feel like a goddess. During the whole fasting phase, for me at least, I was constantly thinking about food, like, oh, I can't wait to eat that, I can't wait to eat this, which I sort of think is not the whole idea behind it, because you're supposed to have that window where you don't have to worry about food. But for me, it's sort of like, I can't wait to eat. But when you ate, then everything was great. It's sort of, you know, that sensation when you take something away, you really want it then. Yeah, besides that, I've sort of gotten into the flow. I'm no longer bloated, so I think my body has adjusted to it, plus or minus already. And because I'm a really lean built person, I'm counting my calories just to make sure I still get the right amount of food, because I eat 2 big meals and I sometimes don't fit a third one, and so I'm worrying that I don't get enough. I don't really want to lose weight by just eating less, because that would remove the whole concept of the fasting period. And then we can't be sure if I lost weight due to the fact that I was eating less or because I was fasting, you know. The second week is nearly over and I did not do a lot of talking in between, so today we're going to do a big round off of what was happening. Basically, I was this close to quitting the intermittent fasting because I love food, and I thought, I love food, I love snacking, and it's like you've got so many food in your cup and you want to eat it, but then like, on my fast I can't eat. But now it's come to the point where I continued with it. I've now gotten into a better rhythm at the end of the second week nearly. It's currently 9:30 and that's usually when I have my peak of hunger, and I'm actually feeling quite alright. So I think I'm starting to get a bit more of the rhythm, and I don't want to stop anymore because you feel very, the concept of not eating 3 to 4 hours before you sleep makes you have a lot better sleep, I must be honest, because you're not digesting during your sleep, and that is an awesome feeling. And then waking up in the morning, hitting your stomach with just black coffee or with a green tea also feels really good and satisfying as well. So you're probably wondering, who in the right mind eats food at 9:30 at night, especially when they're supposed to be fasting? For that, I have an excellent answer. Today, we're celebrating my last meal of this fasting day by eating it far out of the window and having chicken. So, whilst I prepare the food, I would like to chat a little bit about my experience in the whole fasting, because I will probably forget to do it later on. Did it work? Hallelujah! It did. I already noticed a couple of changes after the first week already. So I measured my waist, my arms, my legs before the fast and after my fast. After my fast, around my waist area, I lost 1.5 centimeters, which is a drastical amount. Around my arms, I also lost 1.5 centimeters, and my legs, for some reason, I gained 1 kilo. I gained 1 centimeter. It could possibly be because I was pumped. I did try my legs the day before. I don't know, maybe I gained some weight there, I don't know. I really wish I could have done a fat to muscle measurement, but I couldn't because my gym was shut. And I also stood on the scale. I don't like to work with the scale because it doesn't really say a lot about your inner health, if it's the fat, if it's the muscle. But I did lose 2 kilos for whoever was interested. Would I recommend it? I think it's worth trying. I definitely don't think that it's necessary to lose weight, because it is very restraining in some sense, and in my opinion I did not find it very sustainable. Whenever I try to suggest something to someone, I want it to be life-changing. I want it to be something that will do for the rest of their life, make it a habit. And I find fasting for me personally was very difficult because I've mentioned it before, I love eating. I was constantly thinking about food, and it took me, I think, a week until I got to the proper rhythm where I would only really start to get hungry when it was time to eat during the fast. It had a lot to do with my mental strength, because I really had to talk myself through by saying, hey, another 2 hours, another 3 hours and you can eat, right? And so it's definitely a bit of a mental strength you need. And it's uncomfortable to feel hungry the whole time. And that's one of the main reasons why I did not enjoy it so much, because feeling hungry the whole time is not an enjoyable feeling. And I think when you're trying something new, it should be fun. You should be looking forward to doing it. And the only thing I was looking forward to doing was eating food. So it was And now that I'm off it, I feel more happy. I don't feel so constrained and but it's clearly a thing that's a habit. I have to get into it, to get into the flow and make it really a thing that I consistently do. I must admit I was a bit slack at keeping it consistent, so that was really on my part. When I finally got into the rhythm, I really thought it was great because you felt so light in the morning, you felt light before going to bed. So it definitely has its pros and cons. This is the first time I've actually been working with a script. I've never done this in my life before because everything just comes pouring out of my head. But either way, I have a couple of little mental notes I took, things that were sort of coming to me after I came off my fast. I'm currently not fasting anymore. Something that definitely really got better by fasting was it stopped me from snacking at night. Because after the fast, which for me ended at 8 o'clock, I would then not think about snacking, or I would think about it, but I wouldn't do it. And I think that's very important to continue doing. Just be a bit more mindful about that and snack a little less. I also found out the reason as to why I was bloated in the first couple of days. It was because when you eat a lot, I was very hungry, so therefore I would eat a lot very quickly, and that just caused me to get a bit bloated. And personally, I really enjoyed having a cup of green tea in the morning or black coffee, because it sort of, it did not...
You had...
It felt good. I can't explain why, it just felt really good to do it, and something that I would definitely like to continue doing in the morning. Another thing that I like to talk about is the energy. Many people say intermittent fasting causes you to get a bit more energy. I personally didn't feel that, and in the studies that I read, none of them mention anything about extra energy either. Okay, it's time for the fun part. Let's talk about the science behind intermittent fasting. So in the modern world, it is considered normal for the human to have at least 3 meals a day. Maybe you snack a little more, but that is more prone to overeating. Animals and humans, yes, we're animals too. We once were baboons or something, I have no clue. We have evolved in environments that did not always have 3 meals of food ready for us on the clock. We would go hours or days without eating, and so the intermittent fasting is trying to recreate that whole environment again for us. It has scientifically been proven that us humans, us animals, or whatever the hell you want to call us, but generally because of where we came from, where we evolved from, our body is able to work very efficiently for a couple of hours, a couple of days with no extra energy. It can work mentally very well and physically very well. What's the point? Why are we trying to recreate something we no longer live in? We get our 3 meals a day, we've been doing that for centuries. What are we trying to change? From all the studies I read, they all suggest and support the fact that intermittent fasting, periodic fasting, time-restricted feeding can be overall very beneficial for your health, but also counteract a couple of diseases including diabetes, insulin intolerance, cancer, cardiovascular disease, and also a couple of neurological illnesses such as Alzheimer and stroke. I was shook when I read that because it sounds too good to be true. To support their study, they did many tests on mice and rats. They tried periodic fasting, where you would fast for a couple of days and then continue eating as before, and intermittent fasting, which we all know very well. And due to those test subjects, they could establish the fact that intermittent fasting really does benefit the overall health and can prevent many diseases from developing. There was also another study I found where they tried the different types of fasting, so the 3 types I mentioned before, with normal-sized people and overweight people, and they could see the effects it had on their weight loss, but also they could see that it improved their insulin tolerance and also lowered their risk of cardiovascular disease. Now, today, I murdered my brain by trying to understand this from the deepest level, the deepest biological and chemical level I possibly could. But I even had to sit down with my dad, and it was really, really difficult because the thing is, we know so little about biology. We know a lot, but there's still so much more we need to know, and so therefore it was very difficult to understand from a very chemical perspective. And from what I did find out, it's very difficult to really say, and this is the reason why, because it's not really a black and white situation. Generally, when we do intermittent fasting, we're just putting our body back into a normal state. Because as mentioned before, this is where we evolve from. We evolve from the fact that we don't have to eat every 4 hours. We evolve from the concept that we might not have food for a couple of days. So I think it's perfectly fine to bring your body back to this normal concept. But if one can really prove and say, because of the stress we're putting on your organism, you're not going to develop cancer, I think that's a very black and white situation. I think the fact that putting the stress on your organism by not eating also falls into the family of eating the right amount of food, as in having a good balance between your carbohydrates, fats and proteins, not forgetting to eat your vitamins, and exercise, because all those aspects have also been proven to dramatically make your health better and also reduce so many other risk factors and diseases as well. So intermittent fasting, I definitely think it's something worth checking out, worth trying for a couple of weeks. But I personally don't see it as something that is going to get you necessarily to your goal. Because for me, whenever I try to promote something to someone, I want it to be sustainable, to make you happy and healthier for the rest of your life, and not just a small period in your life. That is it. That is all I necessarily have to say to it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. It was something new, something different, but I really enjoyed doing it. I really enjoyed trying something out. I also learned a lot more to it, and I hope you did too. And I will see you, hopefully not in a month, but next week.